Hey everybody, welcome back to Creating Scenery from Microsoft Flight Simulator. I believe this is episode 6 of our Fairfield Inn Hotel at John Glenn International Airport. And like I've been saying, you can use this hotel anywhere that there is a Fairfield, because most of them do have the same architecture. Not all of them, but a lot of them do. Okay, so anyway, what we're going to be doing today is we are going to fix our roof so it matches. Remember, we extended this part of the wall out 2 feet, so we're going to have to fix our roof line. We will also go ahead and make our parapets on the roof, and we are going to start planning for our stripes on the building. Let's bring up our prototype in Google Earth. Here's our building, and we have this area, this series of walls, and the opposite on the other end of the building are identical, and they have stripes. Okay, and so what we're going to do is set up these two parts of the wall as separate objects so we can stripe them just like this. Okay, and then we're going to extend, we need to extend our roof. So that's what we're going to try to accomplish today. All right, now we need to fix our roof. So let's turn our roof on. All right, and notice that there is a gap right here where we extended this part of the wall. So we need to extend our roof to match it. All right, in order to do that, I'm going to go, let me see, I'm going to select our walls, tab into edit mode, and I've selected this face, and I've come up to transform orientations and hit the plus, created the orientation of this face. Now, I don't know if I explained this before. Most of you already know this, but those that are new to Blender might not know this. All right, so this is the default view, and the default view, this is the pink red line is the x-axis, the green is the y-axis, and then the z-axis comes up, right? We all know that. All right, but when you select a face like I just did here and create a new orientation, the XYZ changes. Okay, the X, it's like you would be face onto that edge. So X is in this direction, Y is in this direction, and the Z is out towards you. So it's just it's like you take that plane or that face and you lay it straight down on your worksheet, and that's the orientation of the face. You with me so far? All right, so with this face selected and the orientation made to that face, we're going to get out of edit mode and select our roof, go into edit mode, and we're going to zoom in to our roof, and I'm going to turn on edge. Okay. Now, I'm going to turn on poly because I want to show you. Now, remember, face, the orientation is with this face. So if I selected this polygon and I hit E and hit enter, I mean just hit E without specifying an axis, okay, it goes in the global Z direction. Okay. However, escape out of that. I'm going to Control Z. If I select an edge and I extrude in the Z direction, it's not going to go up and down. It's going to go this way, Z. See how that does it? Because vertices and edges, Z direction is in the direction of the orientation. All right, so we need to extend this out 2 feet in the Z direction, and the Z is coming out from the polygon. So we're going to hit 2, and it puts it right at the end of the building like that. Okay. Now let's go down to the other end and do the same thing, except we get out of edit mode, select our walls, go into edit mode, select this face, make sure you got face select, select that face, come up here, hit the plus, and now I have this face as well. And you can rename these to make more sense if you ever want to reuse them, okay? But face 001 is the orientation of this face, all right? Then I tab out, go back into edit mode by selecting our roof, go into edit mode, select our edge, and extrude on the Z 2 feet. How come that didn't work? Extrude Z 2. There we go. I just went too fast. All right, so we fixed our roof. Our roof is now oriented with the top of the walls. Now, I don't really like to leave the polygons with these, especially like for roofs and stuff. I'd like them to be one face, and now the roof is made up of 3 faces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to face select, just hit A to select all the faces, just like this. Okay, and we are going to delete only the faces. We're going to keep the vertices and edges. All right, now if I go to edge select, select all, notice that I don't have any faces, I just have these edges. But I don't want this edge, and I don't want this small little edge here. I want to combine them into one face. All right, there's 2 different ways to do that, all right? I can, let's Control Z for a second and bring back our faces that we deleted, all right? I can simply go to face select, select these 2 faces. Notice that that one over here is not selected. I can right click and I can dissolve faces and see it joins these 2 faces. Now these vertices are still there, which is not a big deal, but this is now one face. And then I can shift click this face on the other side, right click and dissolve faces. That didn't work. Let's try again. Let's select this one and this one. I didn't have them really selected. Right click, dissolve face. And how come that is not? Huh, that's strange. Wonder why that did that. All right, well, let's go back to plan A. All right, so let's I don't know why it didn't dissolve that. They're exactly the same. I don't know why it didn't. Usually it does. All right, so let's hit A. And let's go ahead and delete the faces only. So now we have just the edges. Okay, but we need to get rid of this edge down here. So with edge select, I'm going to select that edge and I'm just simply going to delete the edge. Okay, so now I should just have the outside edges. So I'm going to hit A to select them all. It still shows up. There were 2 there. That's why. There were 2 in the same location. So I'm going to hit delete again. There, now it's gone. So during the extrude process, it added an extra edge for some reason. I would be able to figure it out, but I'm not going to do that right now. I know why it did, I think. All right, so with edge select, select all, and then hit F, and you have your roof back, and it's all one face. Just need to make sure that its orientation is correct, and it is. It's blue. Normals are facing out, which is what we want. Okay, so our roof is fixed. Now let's add our parapets. Let's look at our model. I'm going to go into shading, viewport shading, and let's look. So we have probably the parapet thickness is probably somewhere between 8 inches and a foot maybe. We'll make it a foot. All right. But we also have this part of these, either the stairwells or their where their elevator shafts are. All right, they extend above the roof a little bit, so we'll take care of that as well. So let's go into edit mode. Okay. Oh, and it always, let's get out of edit mode. It always is a good idea to do a select all, go to object, and go ahead and apply rotation and scale. I don't do apply all transformations until I'm almost done. Okay. I leave the origins where it wants them right now, but we'll take care of that later. All right, so we've select our roof again, go into edit mode. Now we're going to do that inset with the I. Hit I, and then type in 1, hit enter, and nothing happened. How come? Oh, because I got my wrong, I didn't change my orientation back to global, so Control Z. Sorry about that, y'all. All right, so let's change our orientation back to global. That's why it didn't work, because it was working off the wrong axis. All right, so now go back into edit mode, hit I, and hit 1. I thought I hit 1. Oh, my num lock isn't on. That's why. Hit 1. Hit enter. All right. Sorry. All right, so we have our parapet boundary of 1 foot. All right. Now, you have a couple choices. You can leave the roof alone and make it its separate object. Okay. Or usually what I do when I have a parapet is, with the roof still selected after the insert, I'll do a P, make that a new selection, and then rename roof 001 to roof deck. Okay, so that way I can apply a different material, making it easy. Okay, there's another way to do it. But like I said, I separate my objects out by material. All right. But you can leave them all together and just assign textures to different parts of an object. Okay. All right. But for all intents and purposes, I'm making it easier and just making them separate objects for each material type. Okay. You don't have to do it that way, but for now, that's what we're doing. All right, so we made the roof deck. All right. Now, roof is the actual parapet. So let's get out of edit mode and let's rename roof to roof parapet. Okay. Now we can go into edit mode for our parapet. Okay. Select all of the polys, and we can extrude those 1 foot. Okay. The other way you could have done it was leave the parapets and the roof on the same and extrude the roof in the negative direction to create the parapets. Either way works. Okay, so we're keeping the in this case I've added a foot to the height of our building. Whereas when we first created our building and gave it the height, I actually went to the top of the parapet, right? All right, so let's undo what I just did. It's not a mistake. It's just, I just wanted to show you one way you can do a parapet. So let's put these all back together with a whole bunch of Control Z's here. There we go. All right, so we're back to right after we did the inset. I can do a E for extrude, and by default it's in the Z direction, so I'm going to go -1, and it recreated our roof the same way we did before, except we kept the parapet at the height of our building and lowered our roof. That's all I did. Then I can hit P, separate, and make this a deck. Okay, so a couple different ways you can do your roofs. Totally up to you. So call that deck. Call this one parapet. Okay. Now, you notice over here where we have our, I'm going to call them elevator shafts. If we look at our prototype, they come up above the roof. Now, this one looks shorter than this one. So let's take a look. And it definitely is shorter than this one. All right. So what we're going to do is let's do a measure. Bring over my measuring tool over here. There we go. Let's go 3D path. And let's try to select the bottom of our parapet. These photos in Google are distorted. So it says 6 feet, okay? And the other one's probably 3 then. At least that's what it looks like to me. Yeah, 3.5. I'll make it 3. I like nice simple math. All right, let's go back into our model. Oh, I have to do one more dimension. Our parapet only comes over to here. It doesn't go over the roof on either one of them. So we need a distance. So I'm going to do path. And I'm going to go from the edge of the roof to the edge of the parapet. And I got 11 feet. And on this one I have 7 feet. 11 and 7. Okay? So let's go back to our parapet. And let's do face select. Select this face. Hit period to zoom in on it. Okay. And I want to slice this piece right here. Alright. So I'm going to Control R. Put a loop cut. And I'm going to come down to this part right here. Okay. And I'm going to move in the X direction, minus X, GX minus 1. Okay, that puts this spot straight across from this spot. Okay. So what I need to do now is, I'm trying to figure this out. I don't know if this is what I want to do. If I select this and I extrude that in the, it's going to automatically extrude it in the Y direction because that's the orientation of that face. So E, and let's call it, what did I say, 11 feet? 11 feet. Okay. However, when I extend, because I need to extrude this right here all the way around and back out this way. Since I have to extrude that, see, I get this funky corner right here, right? Okay. So let's Control Z and Control Z. And what I want to do is I want to, I'm going to turn off the, no, I'm not going to turn off the wall. Now this parapet is not part of the wall. Okay, it's all by itself. All right. So what I'm going to do is turn on vertex right here. Click this vertex, and I am going to move it to this corner. So I'm going to make sure vertex snap is on. Hit G and click. Now, since I moved a vertice on top of a vertice, and I have not merged them together, there are 2 vertices in this location. All right. So if I click outside and don't select, if you look down here in the corner, it gives you what I have right now. I don't have any vertices selected out of 141 vertices that make up the parapet. But if I box select this corner, oh, it automatically merged it. How come it did that? It usually doesn't. Usually I get a vertice on top of a vertice. Oh, I know why. Because this polygon shared. That's right. Okay. Sorry. All right. But anyway, we now have a nice square corner right here that we can extrude this part without extruding this part. Okay. Now we need to do the same thing on this side. All right. Well, first let's extrude this. Select this, extrude it 11 feet. All right, so now we have a reference point to extrude on this side. So we need to loop cut this part here and basically do the same thing we did in this corner. Okay, so I'm going to Control R. It's off the screen, that's why it didn't show up. Move it to this corner. GX minus, no, GX1. Yeah, no, is that right? No, let's Control Z that. All right, let's do our loop cut again. Move that over here. Come on, Christopher. All right, and we are in that's the positive direction, so that should work. GX1. Okay, and then take this vertice right here and move it to this spot. And let's double check to make sure that it merged those two automatically. And by box select, I only got one vertice selected. So yeah, it did. All right, and then we can select this face here and make sure that vertice snap is on. And we're going to extrude this with the E to be even with this, just like that. All right. Now we have this triangle here, this extra triangle. We can get rid of it if we want to, which is always a good idea. So I'm going to select these two faces, and I'm going to delete faces only. And I am going to edge select and delete that edge. Okay, turn on vertice. Select those three vertices and these, select these two vertices, and let's just select these two vertices so we have a quad. Hit F, and now we don't have that extra triangle. And we do the same thing on the other side. Select these two, delete faces only, select edge, select this one, delete the edge, turn on vertice, select these four vertices right here, and fill those in with F. Now let's double check our face orientation. Sometimes it flips them on us, and it did not, so we're good. Okay, so we have those. Now we can take these edges right here and we're already a foot up, right? And we need to go 7 feet or 6 feet. So all we need to do is add one more. We need to add a 5. So extrude 5. Just like that. Okay. And the other parapet is exactly the same, except our out dimension is smaller. Okay. How much smaller? I can't remember. So, or did I even measure it? So let's do path. Select this corner and this corner, and I got 6.5 feet. Okay. And 3 feet high. Again, so go to this area here and Control R for a loop cut, slide that down. We're going to move that in the positive, no, yeah, positive X. 1 foot. And we can do the same here. Let's go ahead and do our loop cut. Do it here, GX minus 1. And then our vertices, we can select this vertice and move it to here. And select this vertice and move it to this corner. And then to make sure that we are good with the number of vertices, I'm going to box select, make sure I only have one vertice there in that location. We're good. Alright. Then we're going to face select this face and this face since they're straight across from each other. And we're going to extrude those 6.5 feet. Then we have our triangle to get rid of. So I'm going to select these two faces. Hold my shift, select these two faces. I'll delete those faces. Okay. Now, last time I kept the edges, which I shouldn't have. Okay. So we can now select these four, fill them in, select these four, and fill those in with the F, and double check our face orientation. We're good. Okay. Now, what tells me, since I did not remove the edges, if I box select the edges, I have two edges selected. Okay, there's two edges right on top of each other. How we get rid of that? So we're going to select all the vertices, and I'm going to hit M, and I'm going to merge by distance, and that should get rid of that extra edge. All right. So if I go and box select the edges again, I should only have one now. No, I still have two. So let me select all edges and merge. It still didn't do it. Okay. Yeah, I kind of screwed that up, didn't I? I got the same thing over here. There's an edge for this face, and then an edge. Well, there's two, but it's not joining them together, which is not a big deal. It's all right. Anyway, I should have done that a different way. Doesn't matter. All right, so let's select these faces and extrude those 3 feet. All right, so we got our parapets for the top. All right. If you guys notice what I did wrong, because I can't remember, I'm recording while I'm doing it, so I'm distracted. At least that's the story, and I'm sticking to it. All right, let's do a save. All right, let's go into material view mode. Okay, and get out of edit mode just to see what we like. All right. Now, we'll worry about all the textures and stuff for the roof later. Now I want to concentrate on these two ends. All right, so if we look at our prototype, now this is where it's not going to be perfect, trust me, all right, because my measurements may not be exact. But these stripes are the same dimensions all the way up, okay? They are equal to the stripe that is being used for the air conditioner. So if we go into our model, select our wall, go into edit mode, here's a stripe going, one of the stripes going across our windows, right? Just like this. So these would be the darker stripes at the bottom, even with the air conditioners, right? Okay. However, this bottom one is larger in my drawing than it probably is in real life. Okay? Because this distance here is the same as this distance, but I didn't make it that way in my model. Okay, so it's not going to be perfect, but we want our stripes to definitely line up at least with the bottom of the windows, right? And then we need to figure out, yeah, my stripes aren't going to be perfect, all right? They are not going to be perfect at all. So, whoops, what did I do that for? I wanted this. So, between the windows, I know I have 1, 2. Because this stripe, even though this is distorted, this stripe ends with the top of this window. Okay? It's not gonna be perfect, guys. I'm sorry. I know I disappointed all of you. Alright, so we're just gonna make it appear. So we need 2 more stripes in between the windows, right? So, I don't want to put a loop cut on the entire building. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these end pieces like this. Just like this. I'm holding down Shift, selecting these just like that. Alright, and I'm going to hit P, make those new selection, main stripe, whoops, main stripe ends. Okay, get out of edit mode, select our stripe ends, go in, and let's add some loop cuts. We'll add a loop cut at every floor, at every window, okay? So we get 2 stripes, all right? So we're gonna Control R, loop cut, and loop cut, and loop cut. Okay, they're not exactly the same. The loop cut underneath the windows is a little wider, but when we stripe our building, it will look just fine, in my opinion. All right? For all of you perfectionists out there, sorry. So I'll do the same on the other end. I'm not doing an architectural drawing, okay? We're doing a representation at an airport. Okay, now we have the 2 ends for the stripes, but I want to differentiate the dark and the light. Okay, so I am going to go to face select, and I'm going to come down here, and with my mouse at the meeting point of these 2 faces right here, I'm going to hit Alt and click, and it selects them all the way around. Okay, then I'm going to hit Alt Shift and do the same at every other one. I'm hitting Alt Shift. Okay, and these are all light colored. Okay, so let's do the same on the other side. Alt Shift, and every other row. These are light colored stripes. Okay, and we're going to hit P, select, and we're going to call this LT for light. And then the other ones we're going to rename to end, and we'll put a DK for dark. Okay, and let's do a save. Now I can apply a temporary material while I'm working on my building. It's just a temporary. All right, so let's go to the dark and see if we can match up the color as close as I can. So let's go to dark, and let's go to material, and let's say stucco DK for dark colored stucco. Okay, we need to give it a color, and it's kind of an orangey beige. So I'm going to select the color, get my color wheel, come down to beige, maybe add a little bit of pinkish to it, and let's darken it up just a tad, kind of like that. Okay, get out of edit mode and see what it looks, and then bring up our prototype, and it may not be exact, but it's close. All right, then I can go into my walls, tab into edit mode with my walls, and basically separate my walls exactly how I did these stripes. All right, so holding down the Alt, holding down the Alt, I'm selecting this like that, just like that. Now Alt, let's try this again. I am so sorry, I'm having a hard time waking up. Alt, select this row, Alt Shift, Alt Shift, Alt Shift. Oh. No, I just want the darks. I don't need the lights because this is all light color. There's not as many stripes. They're only underneath the windows. I'm so sorry. So I'm going to Alt click. Whoops, wrong Alt click. I'm going to Alt click this stripe. Shift Alt. Okay. And then it's just a series of shifts between the windows. So I'm going to select all those rows that are underneath the windows on the entire model, and then we're going to separate those out as dark stripes as well. All right, so let me finish selecting those and I'll be right back. So I have all the stripes underneath the windows where they're supposed to be, I believe. This section is white and this section is brick, so I don't need, or all the same color, so I need to select those. So we just simply hit P, and let's call this main stucco dark. Now I could have just joined that temporary 001 into the stucco dark material, but we'll leave those separate for now. Okay, tab out of edit mode, select that, and select our dark stucco, just like that. So that kind of looks like it. So I will stop the video here on this episode, and we will continue on doing some more detail work. See you guys later.